We respectfully request the Sangha of great virtues, for the sake of this assembly and all living beings, please turn the wonderful Dharma wheel to teach and guide us how to end birth and death, leave suffering and attain bliss, and quickly realize non-birth. 恭请大德三体，为此法会济一切众生，请真妙法论教导我们，如何了生脱死离苦得乐，速证无生。
Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one.
Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one.
Namo Sadanto Suchedoye Alahudi Samyao Samputosye.
Namo Sadanto Suchedoye Alahudi Samyao Samputosye.
Namo Tadakta Toya Daya Alahade Tamyo Tamboda Toa.
Namo Takata Doya Daya Alahade Tamyo Tamboda Toa.
The unsurpassed, profound, subtle, and wonderful Dharma in 100,000 million aeons is difficult to encounter. Now that I am able to see and hear, I will receive and maintain it. I vow to fathom the thus come one's true and actual principles.
无上甚深微妙法，百千万劫难遭遇。我今见闻得受持，愿解如来真实义。
O Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, Venerable Jingliang, Venerable Shenhua,
诸佛菩
Venerable
萨
Lafeng、 people,
清凉
and
大
all
士、宣化
good
上
no
人、各位
advisors,
出家人、各位
Amitofo.
善知识，阿弥陀佛。
诸佛菩萨、敬仰师父、敬仰大师、师父上人、各位出家人、各位善知识，阿弥陀佛。诸佛
菩萨、清凉大师、宣化上人、各位出家人、各位善知识，阿弥陀佛。
Hello everyone.
大家好，今天呢是11月7号，2021年。我们在这呢，继续呢，在讨论呢第一个大方广佛华严经。
All right, we on slide 35.
我们在第35页，我们就一直我们在说这个这个六种成就，我们正在讲这个六种成就。
So far we to the we at the fifth requirement.
我们就讲到了这个第5处成就。当你在这个说法的时候，你是需要一个地方来说法。那个时候呢，佛呢其实并不是说需要一个道场，但是呢，还是需要有一个地点，有一个它是在一个玛嘎达的这个摩羯提国，所以呢，他就讲到我们这个所谓的文化背景，那个时候所用的。那第6呢，就是第36页呢，就是呢，这个是众成就。那这是一个非常重要的讲经的一个要素。经文是讲给谁听的？就是跟大家决定说我们可以学的，我们可以跟这个人学的。
In particular, this Avatamsaka
这个大方广佛华严经呢，这里就讲了，就是说，就是讲到这个菩萨们， 菩萨们呢，其实是这个原因。这个就是对这个觉悟的人呢。当我们在听的时候，我们会种下这个觉悟的种子。所以呢，不单是呢，这个成就呢，还有呢，就是他告诉你呢，这个法本身的这个内容，这就是这个菩萨们呢。就是说他的这个从这个低到非常高的程度。所以呢，为什么是这么好的一个这么棒的一件事情？所以就看你的这个程度呢，你就可以得到不同的。当宣化上人说法，他是跟他们的弟子说。
And it's unfortunate to me because he spoke to those sutras. For example, he spoke the Shrangma Sutra when he lectured on that in the U.S. To a group of master's degree students from some kind of university of Washington or something like that. And you can tell that you can go so far because these people will not be able to connect with the high level understanding.
可以理解那样高度的程度，但是他的这个论言经呢里面就讲的是非常重要的一个那样的经文，所以这个经文对你自己呢，当你听到这样的这个解释呢，它其实并不是非常高的程度，但是这是为什么我非常喜欢听，因为如果是太深奥呢，我就说哦，这太无聊了。我那时候之前听的非常非常喜欢，觉得非常听了非常有乐趣。
But it's the assembly,
但是是这个大众呢，
他们呢 invoke,
是可以
that will demand the level of depth of the teachings. Okay, so I feel that again it's unfortunate because Master Hsuan is a master at lecturing sutras.
当你在听这个 sutra 的时候呢
，skill level is so incredible. When he explained the sutra, also
当你在
very
说这个
early
经
on
文
in
的
his
时候，
teaching career,
很早
when
的
his
时候呢，
level
当你的这个程
probably
度
a
呢
little bit lower.
是比较低，他的那个时候他的程度比较低一点，那个时候，那尤其是听众呢也是比较低的，所以你就必须要跟这个弟子们、跟这个听众们呢有连结，不然他们就会放弃。那我记得他是呢，他的解释呢是非常。在low side， 就是在大方广佛华严经里面，所以可能当到我们的这个时间上呢，这个所有人呢，你的这个程度呢是会比他高很多，你最好要祈祷说，请宣化上人要帮助我，当然不然我是没办法帮助你们的。你知道我为什么双手合掌，在我们在请法的时候呢，我就说啊，请佛啊菩萨，请你帮我，不要让我呢，就是在这边丢脸。
Okay, and that's a trick too. When you guys need to speak Dharma,
其实呢，这也是一个方法。当你们要说法的时候，你们诚心的请他们来帮助你，那就可以帮助你。37。
Wait. Assembly state arhats? No way.
这个就是在讲说，这里是的 assembly 诸大菩萨及大阿罗汉同闻佛说法。
Okay, arhats.
是师父说是没有阿罗汉的，
arhats were not
不应该是没有阿罗汉的，阿罗汉是没有办法，是不应该让他们听的，所以他们就
Hello, Master. I have two questions.
师父，我有两个
So
问
first
题。
question is
第一
that
个是
Do you plan to elaborate on Shranga Sutra?
打算讲这个楞严经吗？
Sutra, do I plan to elaborate on that? I doubt it, because at this point here in my career,
在这个阶段呢，在我的这个
I don't think I can add more to the sutra. If I were
目
to
前这个阶
lecture
段，
in
我
that
不觉得我
sutra,
可
for
以再
example, I simply will be regurgitating
有
what
再
Master
附加
Shenhua
更多新的资
taught.
讯在宣化上人所
And that
讲
would
的
be a
这个
waste
楞
of
严
time
经上面
for you.
所以呢，
I
那
mean,
就会是
I
在
will
浪费
not
你
sit
的
here
时
and
间。
pretend I can add more to it than what he did. He did a fantastic job. Okay, he delved into deeper things. And I'm afraid if I go any deeper, I'm gonna, no one will listen. Because we lose people left and right. Here, at least I can BS and tell you about what's happening in Australia and so forth. It's another continent in the context of Avatamsaka Sutra. But Shrangama Sutra is very demanding, very rigorous. You do not mess with chant. Those are the chant principles, the chant things.
非常非常的困难的、艰难的，而且要非常精进的去学它。那我只记得我看过这个有明寿大师呢，就是第6个净土宗的这个祖师呢，就是他是这个阿弥陀佛的化身，所以我只记得你读到他的这个解释呢，是非常非常令人真的是非常可怕、非常厉害的。所以可能等我这个退休了以后呢，我会希望我能有机会呢再回去听这个有明寿这个
So it's funny.
大师呢，他所解的，因为他是阿弥陀佛的化身，那他先开始的，刚开始修行的时候，他就是学禅，那要把他的做他的工作呢，他就决定特别呢教导大家这个净土，就是你讲到他的这个skill level， 就是他的这个功夫呢以及理解的程度呢是非常高的。所以呢，如果我读了他讲的，那我就可能会来继续讲经。
Second question
第二个问题呢
？At the Buddha's time, only Bodhisattvas can hear the sutra, and how come now at the Dharma ending time, lower level people like us can hear the sutra?
Is there a question?
听经
Yes, that's a question.
这是一个问题
Why are we hearing it?
为什么我们现
No,
在在
it
听
was
这个？
reserved for only
你的问
Bodhisattva
题
at
是
the
说
Buddha's
我们
time.
为什么
Now,
现在在
at
听
this
这个法？
time,
他
seems
说
like
在那个时候明
Buddha's
明
not
就
even
是只
here,
给
it's Dharma ending
佛跟
age.
大
But
菩
then
萨们听的。那
lower
现
level
在
people
呢？
like us have the rights or the privilege to hear.
是意思就是说，反而在这个末法时代呢，一般的人呢，这个菩萨们呢，一般的菩萨呢，他是可以听。反而可以听这个经，不是菩萨反而听。师父就说：“你们有些人是菩萨，你如果仔细看，你们是特别的。那么很多是菩萨，如果你们仔细看。” Billy 说：“谁
Okay. I'm not sure why the Buddha spoke the sutra only for bodhisattvas. To me, that's something he did I couldn't understand. To me, he speaks sutra for everyone. And even if we don't get it, we plant the seeds. Didn't we hear somewhere in the sutra where when you hear the sutra, you have these indestructible seeds in your consciousness. Vajra seeds and consciousness. So even if you don't understand at all, you have these incredible seeds. I mean, to me, Buddhism is not so much about like something you see concrete results right away, like winning a super lotto or buying a car and so forth. No, Buddhism is about judiciously planting the seeds. Number one. Okay. And those are without the seeds. There's no way for you to become enlightened. No way.
没有这个种子呢，其实你是不可能会
So for you to become enlightened, you must have a lot of
所以你要能够觉悟呢，你应该是种下了很多这个金刚种子。
And so I didn't quite understand why he only explained it to the bodhisattvas. Maybe he said, this is so advanced, let me teach the bodhisattvas first, get it out of the way. The rest of the humans are not quite ready yet. And so let's do the most important things first. Let's take care of the bodhisattvas. And then for the humans,
那对于剩下的凡夫呢，我们就要他们需要时间。
So then after he took care of the most important task to serve the bodhisattvas.
花了很多时间去
So in Buddhism, when you're
照顾这个大菩萨
bodhisattva,
们，所以因为在佛教里面，如果你是菩萨们呢，我们就会
So it's a privileged
反
class.
向
No
的特
two
别
ways
照顾
about
你
it.
们，给你们一些
All Buddhas
特别
know
的待
about you.
遇。所以呢，所有的佛教徒都知道你们了，都知道你们。
So that's why he took care of them first. And then after that, in order to take care of the humans, in order to train the humans, he needs to go through, he taught us what you need to do in order to train the humans.
可以给
Okay?
他
So
们
you
给
went
凡
through
夫
the
们，
agama,
所以他就
you
从
give
这
them
个
the proper foundation.
给他们的
Agama,
这个
what's the
正确
important thing
的
about the
这
agama
个
teaching? The first thing he taught is agama.
正确的
It's about the proper
给
foundation.
他们的基础。
Okay?
所以
Back
阿
then,
含那经
back
那
then,
个时候呢，
there were
就是给他们正确的基础。在那个时候
yogis,
呢，有很
Brahmins,
多
all kinds of
Brahmin， 还有
practitioners
很多
who had a
不
pure
同的
life.
修行人，他
They
们
led
是有一
a
个
life of purity, a life of devotion, a life of faith. But Buddha
他
felt
们
like
是花时
all
间
with
呢，
all
在这
these
个
superior,
过着一种非常
pure
清净的生活
people,，
但是
they
呢，
still,
这些
the foundation is still not solid enough
这些清
for
净的人呢，这些人呢，他们
wisdom
的
needs to
这个
stand on something. That
基础呢
foundation
还是
there.
不够。
So that's why he said,
所以呢，
you
他
know,
就说呢，
I
你知道
need
吗？
to, the
我已
agama
经
thing is
虽然
primarily
是
to give
这
them
个
the
阿哈那
proper
经呢
foundation
它主要
that
是
they
跟我
can
们
build
从
on.
亚洲来。
This foundation,
你
Buddhism
知道这个基础呢，就
is
是
something that grows, that keeps on getting built, gets enlarged. Okay? Gets stronger, gets deeper. So he started with that. That's an agama thing. That's the main thing. It's not about breathing. To me, it's not about breathing. I'm not interested in breathing. Who cares about breathing? Why do you have to learn to breathe? You're breathing already, aren't you?
对我来说，这
Anyway,
并不是
I'm
代表
opinionated, as you notice by now.
学习
I'm very
怎么样
opinioted.
去呼吸。你们本来就知道要怎么呼吸了，不是吗？
I lived my entire life, never worried about how
但
to
是我这
breathing.
一
Now I have
世
to
呢，
learn
从
how
来
to
都没有
breathe.
感
You're
受
kidding
感
me.
受到如何要呼吸。
So I lived my entire life
所以
wrong.
我
I'm offended by that
一辈子
concept.
都是
You have to
活错
learn
了
how to breathe
你要
again.
重新学习如何呼吸。
I don't get it.
我不懂，
Okay, so that's my criticism of the Hinayana
这是
people.
我对
Hey,
小
don't
乘
teach me
佛
how to
法的
breathe.
人
I
选
can't.
择，
Who
不要教
cares?
我如何呼吸，
Tell me something else I
跟我
didn't know.
讲其他我不知道
So
的
anyway,
事。
so to
所
me,
以
it's
呢
not about
对我来
breathing,
说呢，
not
不是
about
关于
all
呼
this
吸，
death thing
或是你理解的东西，
or you know, arhat
或是
thing.
阿罗
Because
汉。
to me, it's a natural thing.
对我来
Look,
说是非
all
常
of
自
you who
然的事
become
情。
arhats,
你
did you
们
know
大部
why
分
you
人都
became
成为阿
arhats?
罗汉，
See, you have no clues why you became arhats.
你都不知道为
So
什
who
么你
cares?
成为阿罗汉，所
About
以
Four Noble Truths about
你们
to
都
me.
都不知道
I-
是如何成为阿罗汉的。
Sorry, I
你
got
是
too far.
也
I
不
take
懂
it
四
back.
圣谛，
Okay.
你什么都不
So
懂。
that's why to
所以
do with
为什么
humans,
呢？
it is takes a lot of preparation.
是
You
需
need
要
to pay
很
them
多
because
很
humans
多的
are
准备，
very, very
因为呢
difficult to teach. The Buddha said he realized that the humans
因为
forget
呢，凡
these
夫呢
are
是非常
not
难
worth it
教
because not worth my
驯
time.
服的跟教导的，
Too much work
太多的工
and
作
they're too
了，
slow
太
and
慢
they're too
了，
full of themselves.
太
What else? Peter, what
觉
else
得
wrong
自
with
己太
humans?
厉害。还有 Peter， 还有你还有什么
Okay,
问题？
so that's why he ignored the humans, but then
所以他
because
就
of
不太见凡
because
夫
he。got trapped. the Christian God,
所以呢，
Daniel's boss, and the king of the first Dhyana
天
heaven,
主呢，还有就是第
colluded and they requested the
天
Buddha
堂
to
的
teach.
主
So the
呢，
Buddha had no
他们就
choice.
请佛
He
来
said
教
he
导
had
他
to
们，
teach
他
the
们没有
humans. So he has to design this
选择，
beautiful
他们就必须要做这
coursework
个
where it
非常
started
漂亮、
first
非
with
常美
Agama,
的。我们
and
先
then
从这个
Vaipulya,
阿含那
and
开始，
then
在美古里亚，
Prajna,
然后在
and
般若，
then Lotus,
再来是
Okay, so he
妙法莲
prepared
华
them. He paved the way. Okay,
莲
and
华
that's
涅
how I
槃。
see.
这个
That's
时期，
when you look at that,
所以
that's how
当
you
你看
see.
到那个时
In
期呢，这个
order
不同的时
to
期，你就
teach
知道说，
humans,
你要能够
this
教
is
导
what you
凡
need
夫
to
呢，这是你必须要做的。
It takes time.
它
You
是需
can't
要
rush
时
it.
间，你不能够
Okay.
去 赶
So
去
that's how I see. That's how I saw the
赶它。
Buddhist teaching. It's
这就是为什么呢？
masterful how he
为什么？
prepared. He paved the way for them. So agama to me is purity, is the foundation. But Purya, it says, don't be so full of yourselves, a lot more going on. So that's sort of like a sales pitch. Okay, you're happy, right? You feel better about yourself, right? You know, by the
所
way,
以
it's
你
a
们
lot
其实
much
觉得，
better
其实就是一
things
个 sales
around the
pitch。
corner. Okay, that's for Purya. And then Prajna is when
这是般
you
若。
This is the prize in Buddhism. You practice it all. You
因为
have
你
to
如果
shoot
修的话
for
呢，你
enlightenment
就是可以
because you're not
觉悟，
enlightened yet.
因为你还没
You
有
don't
觉
know
悟，
what you're
所以
missing.
呢，
Okay, so enlightenment is the
所以觉
prize.
悟呢，其实就是一个
Okay, if
很
you
大的一
encounter
个
Mahayana
prize，
and you don't
这
set
是很
aside
大
on,
的一个
you
奖
know, I'm going to be enlightened. Then there's something wrong with you. Okay, yeah. So that's spiritual enlightenment. And however, that enlightenment is still not that
那个
high.
觉悟呢，
So
不
you
管
have
是
to
怎么样
teach a
呢，
perfect
还是没有
enlightenment.
很高，
In
所以他
Lotus
也
Sutra where
会
it
要教
says,
圆觉，所
enlightenment
以
is not
在
enough. You
那
should be a
个
Buddha yourself.
莲华经里，他就
Enlightenment
说
versus
觉悟
Buddha
是不
is
够
not
的，
quite the same.
这个觉悟跟佛是不一样的。
So what's the second question again?
所以第二个问题是什么呢？
We would have the privilege to. The question was why we at the Dharma ending age, we're not bodhisattvas, have the privilege to
第二
hear
个问
about
题就
this.
是为什么在末法时代呢？不是菩萨
Not only did I say that, I said that there are
们可以听呢，
bodhisattvas
不但我
present.
说，
Okay,
目前
and
是有菩
they
萨
need to
们
be
在
taken
做
care
的
of.，
他们必
But
须要
also,
照顾到他们。还有呢，
it's
就是
not to me. It's not
对
just
我
the
来说，不是
bodhisattvas.
只是讲
Mahayana
给
has
菩萨们
something
听的。大乘佛法有一
very
个叫做
very unique
非常
in that
特别的，
in that this is called sudden teaching.
这个
Okay,
顿教法
so
门。
even though you're not a
所以就
bodhisattva
算你不
yet,
是菩萨
you
们
can become
你
enlightened
也可
yourself
以
very
是觉悟
quickly.
的，
So
你自己可
therefore,
以
you
很快的
cannot
觉悟，
ignore
所以
that.
你没有办法
Okay.
去
The Buddha
避免
has been
看到这件
preparing
事。佛呢
us
已经
already.
在
When he
准备
first
我
came
们，
to
当
our
他来
world
到这个世上的时候
in
呢，
the
他
past,
已经
people didn't know about Buddhism.
很多人
Now
不
we
知道
have
佛
Buddhism
教，
for
所以我们现在有
3,000
佛
years
教呢，
already.
有
We have all these
3000
seeds,
年了
Vajra，seeds.
我们大家都有这个所谓的
Now,
金刚种子，
so it's the
所
conditions are
以
different.
这
You're
个
different.
状
So
况不
that's
同，
why
你们也不同，
that's why
跟当时不同。
the reason, the primary reason why,
原
even
因就
though
是
you're
为
not
什
a
么你不是
bodhisattva,
菩萨呢？
that you get to
你也
listen
可
to
以
this
听到
is
这个
because
经文呢，这是因为呢，
I probably cheated you in the
我可
past.
能
That's why you're
以
here
前
to
呢
collect.
可能骗过你们，所以你们现在来跟我讨债了。
It's very hard to attend these things.
因为你非常难
Honestly,
能
not
够
many people can
来
attend these
参加
things.
这样的这个说法的
So clearly, you're
法
here
会，
because it's not
所
the
以
first time.
很明显的，
I
你在这，因为
cheated you
表
in the
示它不
past,
是
so
第
now
一
you
次，
know
因
me,
为
so
我以
now
前
you're
有骗
coming to
过你，
collect
所以
again.
你们现在呢就来跟我
All
讨
right.
债。
Okay, no arhats. Okay, I don't know
没有阿罗汉，我不
which
知道
text
是
is from.
从
This
哪
is
里有
weird.
说过这里面是有阿罗汉
It's
的，
no
很奇怪，
arhats.
我记得是没有阿
It's
罗汉。
supposed to be no arhats at all.
应该
Now
是
there
没有
are
阿罗
arhats,
汉
but
的。
before is no
现在
arhats.
是有阿罗汉，但在那个
38.
时候是没有阿罗汉的。第38
4 questions are hard to ask the Buddha. I wish I could ask Master Hsuan questions
他
to
说有4
myself,
个问题
but
是可以问
never got a
要佛
chance
的
to
佛住世的时候，我们
because
依
he
佛而
died.
处。
So
但是呢，
before
他最
I
后
could think
在
of
他
any questions, so
离开之前呢，
wishing to
所以
respect
呢
his desires, I don't ask him questions
我
at
就
all.
没有问他任何问题。
Number 1, what are the 4 questions?
第一个，这4个
the
问
4
题呢，
questions that when the Buddha
当佛
said
呢
to his disciples
就跟他的弟
he
子们
was
说
leaving
呢
the，world.
他离开这个世
So
上
the
呢，
4 questions
这后面
that
就有这4个问题。
the Aniruddha were taught to
呢，那
ask
时
the
候呢，
Buddha
就那
was
时候就
was
被
number
教
1,
问师父就说，
when Buddha was
当
here,
佛在世的时候呢，
they relied upon the Buddha.
我们
After the
依
Buddha
佛
is
而
gone,
处。入涅槃
where
后
should
呢，我们
they
依谁而处呢？
where could they rely on? Okay, and second question, did we have an answer for this? Okay, and the second question was he was our teacher when he was alive. After he's dead, who should we look as for as a teacher? Number 3, if some Buddha was able to control this evil nature,
再来，佛住世时，恶性
he's
比丘
gone,
佛可以调伏，
who's
佛
in
入涅
control
槃后
them?
谁来调伏呢？
Bhikshunis too. Okay, and number 4.
再来呢，
Sutras are compiled, and how do you distinguish the sutras from Buddhist sutras from the other non-Buddhist sutras?
经文用什么文
And
字来
so
代
the
表
Buddha
呢？
says the 4
所以
things
佛
you
就说
should
有4个，
dwell. There are 4 places
有
that
4处
you
呢
could dwell
你
on
可以
after I'm
住
gone. The 4 station of mindfulness.
就
This
是
is a very important
就是
concept.
四
念处, the
念
4th
处
station of
有4念
mindfulness.
处。
First of all, the body is impure.
第
Don't
一
be
呢
so，attached
观
to your
身不
body.
净，不要那么的执着于你的身体
Okay?
这是第一点。
No matter what you do
不
to
管
it,
你怎么
it's
做
still
呢
very，
它还是
impure.
不净。
It excretes impurities constantly. So don't worship your body. There's no need. Okay, you know it's just a tool. Okay, so don't be so
你知道它
enamored
就
with
只
your
是
body.
一个
Okay, so
一个 tool
in particular,
完全不
be
净，你
careful
就
of
知
the
道它
people
只是
who
一
are
个
so
工具而
attached
已
to。the bodies.
你要注意那些真的非
Number
常
two，
执着于他们身体的人。第二个，
Feelings are
观受
fleeting. They are
是苦
suffering.
就是所有
Including
的
especially
感受呢都是
feelings
苦，
of
尤其
pleasure
是
actually
你
are
们
suffering.
对
Think about
享乐
it.
的
No need
的
to
感觉呢
elaborate
是
on
苦
this.
的，
Okay?
所以这个是
Because
不
it only
需要
makes you
花时
depressed.
间去看这个部
What?
分，它只
I
会
can't
让
feel
你
good
觉
about
得是
myself.
depressed。
Then
你说
why do I have
我
to
们不
live?
能觉得
You
我自
live
己
here
很
because you
棒
have to
吗？
repay your debts.
那我活着干嘛呢？你活着就是要来
You're here
还债的。
to repay. Number 3.
第三，
The Buddha says you
说
should
你应该
know that
知道
thoughts are impermanent. Thoughts are
观心
fleeting.
无常。
They come and go
这些
with,
念头呢，就是来来去去的，
with their own will. There's no pattern. There's no
没有
there's no
任何
rhyme or
的
reason. They just come.
原因，他们就是来
All
来
of
去
a
去
sudden,
的。
this
突然
thought
就
pops in
来，
you,
这个念头进入
and
你，
that's it. And you think
就
it's
这样子，
yours.
你就觉得是你
Okay,
的。
and you cannot tell your
你就
own
没办
thoughts
法
from others' thoughts.
分别你的念
I
头以
talked
及
to
其他人的念
some
头。
people
我
recently,
跟
and
很
they're
多人
crazy.
讲话，但是他们呢是很
They're
疯
manic,
狂的，
they're depressed,
他
they're
们又 manic 又
panic
depressed
attacks, they're
又
vain.
又很
So
这
many
个
problems.
愚痴，
And so
又
when I
又
realized it, who am I
有很多
talking
问
to?
题。然后后来我就说，我到底跟
Multi-personality, multiple
跟谁讲
personality as well.
是跟不
You
同的
you
人
never
在
know
说
who
话，
you're
你不知道
talking
你
to.
在跟谁说，
Okay, so what to do?
所以怎么办呢？
So it's because
就
these
是呢，
people
是因为呢，这些人呢，
don't realize
他们并不
that
知道呢，他
the
们
thoughts are
的念头
impermanent.
呢是无常的。
Okay, So what do you do?
所以怎么办呢？
What do you do if you have these thoughts
如
coming
果
in
你
your
有
head?
这些念头在你的心中，你该怎么做呢？
You know they're impermanent. They
你
don't
知道他
last.
们都是无常的，
So what do you do?
你该怎么做呢？
Nothing. Don't do anything. They come and go by
他
themselves.
们就是来来去去的，
Okay? So train yourself
所以训练你
to
自己，
ignore these thoughts. And the
去不要
first
看这些念
rule
头。
of thumb
第一个
you need
条
to
件呢，就是
understand
呢
the，foundation of
那个基
this
础呢，
is
就
that
是
of our Mahayana practice
这个大
is
乘佛法的修
what?
行呢，是什么呢？
Ignore the thoughts.
不要听你的念头，听你自己心里
They are
面的念头，
preoccupied with yourself.
就是你心里面的念头，
No need to worry about
不需
yourself.
要担心你自己，
No need to
不需要
indulge yourself.
沉溺于自己心里面的念头，
What confused people do.
这是
They indulge
愚
themselves.
痴的人做
They
的。
say, "Oh, my life's so hard already.
他
Let
就
you
说
know, let's
我
indulge
的
ourselves."
是我的，
Okay? If
我
you
觉得
have
很辛苦。既然已经这么辛苦
wisdom,
了，我就花点时
then
间
you
享
stop
乐吧
those，thoughts
给
and
自
you
己想
can
想。如果你
ignore
有
those
智慧
thoughts. Those thoughts are
你就
natural,
可
by the
以
way.
呢，
You
自然而
grow
然
in
的不要
want to
去看这
indulge
些，
yourself. That's just life.
看
That's
这些
how we
念头
made，up.
这就是我
But
们的本身的样子。但是呢，
Just watch out for those types of
就注意
thoughts
这些
and
念头就
ignore
对
them.
了。
Do nothing whatsoever.
我
Do
就不看
nothing.，
就什么都
Because
不
they
要
will
做，
die by
因为
themselves.
他们自
You
己
don't
会
even need to
掉
kill them.
落。你不需要去杀它，
Like you kill a mosquito
就好像你杀这个
or a rat
啊、
or chicken.
老鼠或是鸡
Yes,
或者
three.
是蚊子一般，
Master, is an impure thought
是一个
at the
师
same
傅如
level
果
of seriousness
一
as
个
an
不敬的念
impure
头
act?
的所造的业，是不是跟这个不敬的
Impure
行为呢
thoughts
的业是同样严重的？
are the cause of
这
impure
个不敬
acts.
的念头呢，就是
Let's, for example,
不敬
let's
的
be
行为
specific.
的
An
的
impure
原
act
因。
would be
一个
polluting the environment.
比如说不
That's
敬
impure.
的作为呢，它就会
And
造成
there's
这个
so
环境
many
呢不敬。
impure thoughts
但
that
是
are the
有
root
很多
cause of
不
such
敬的念
behavior.
头呢，
Yes? Are we clear on that? Okay. So which one is worse?
所
Of
以哪一
course.
个是不好的
Excuse
呢？
me. If you get to the coarse level
尤其是你
where
到
you
这个非
commit
常
offenses with your body,
你
that's,
用你的心造业下去的这个
very low
程度
level.
呢，是非常低的程度。
as cultivators,
当你是一个
we
修
need to
行者的
watch
时
out
候
for，these
我
impure
们必须要
thoughts
看我
so
们的这
that
个
we
不
don't
敬的念
go,
头，所
we
以
are
我们
not
不会呢
fooled by them
被他们
and
欺
take
骗，
action and
而
enact
且我
these
们来做
thoughts.
事。
Okay. So in the Buddhist practice,
所以在佛教里面
part
呢，
of the
其中呢
the initial teaching when the Buddha in the
一开始的
Agama
教义
period
呢，
is that the Buddha says your
他
foundation
就说
is
你
to
的这
recognize
个基
that
础
these
呢，
thoughts are not
就
okay.
是看到说
It's
这
not
些念头
okay
是不
to
对的。
say me,
他不是
me,
说
me, me,
说
me.
一直说我
It's not okay
是
at
不
all.
对的。
He insulted me.
他侮辱我，
There's no me
就
who
是
is
没有我，
insulted. How
没有我
stupid can
是
you
被
be?
侮辱的。
Huh? Buddhist teaching is when you have
佛
wisdom,
法
you
就是
find
教
out
你
there's no
有智
me.
慧，你是没有办法的。
So you learn from the wisdom, you
你
say,
从那个智慧
there's
来
no
呢，
me.
就说是没有
Who's
我的，
suffering?
是
There's
受
no
苦
one
的。
who's suffering.
没有
What's the
人在
matter
受
with
苦。
you? When are you going to
差
wake
别
up?
是什么？你什么时候会
Who's feeling bad?
会
No one is feeling
醒来？
bad.
是谁感觉不好？没有
Except
人
me.
在学的不好，除
All
了
your
我
bad
之外。
feelings go towards me
你们所
already.
有的
I
不好的
collect
感
them.
觉都已经
You come to
朝
my
着我来
temple
了，
so
你
that
来
you
我
can
道
so that
场
you，can dump all those
所
things
以你
on
可以
me.
把这些东西都丢在我
Isn't
的
that
道
what you've been
场里
doing?
面，这不就是你们做的吗？一直在做的吗？
You say, no, not me. I'm on your side. Okay? That's the Hinayana, they say, oh, I need to eliminate these one thoughts, these bad thoughts. It's very simple. I'm telling you. I'm teaching you the Mahayana and Hinayana practice. Okay? That is, you have anything that says me, cut it off. Ignore it. That's all. That's all there is to it. Don't waste time on those thoughts. They are impermanent. They come and then they go. Don't have to do anything.
不需要做任何事情。
Okay? Don't have to get upset. Don't have to reject them. They will go by themselves. They will die by themselves. Okay? And when you get a little bit higher,
等你比较累的时候呢
yes, 7.
第7
Mô Phật Bạch Thầy, người ta có cái tư tưởng đó là cái đó là cái bằng cái nghiệp của người ta, phải không thầy? Có cái tư tưởng giống mình nói cứ nghĩ những cái tư tưởng mà mình không có thể tưởng tượng được.
It's that simple. All you have to do is that, for example, he insulted me. Okay?
他已經侮辱我。
Is no one being insulted?
其實是沒有人被侮辱的。
Huh? If you have wisdom,
如果你有智慧的話
if you really have wisdom, you realize no one is being insulted.
你就知道是沒有人被侮辱的。
Now you don't have wisdom yet.
那現在你
All
還
you
是
have to
沒有
say
智
is
慧，
when I have
所以呢
wisdom.
你就說的，你只要說我什麼時候有
I'm
智慧
bothered
呢
right now, but it's a temporary
我現在
state, so I don't have to do
是
anything.
被他騷擾，但是是暫時的我，所以
Is
我
that
不需要
fast?
做任何事情，就這樣子。
Mô Phật Bạch Thầy.
You don't need to go like Hinayana where they contemplate the impurities and they imagine that you're dead and then the body bloats and you have pus oozing out your holes in your body and so forth, worms and so forth. It's too slow.
等到你死了以后，你的身体里面就腐烂，
too
然后
slow.
最后那个时候才看到它的不净，小圣的那个方法是太
Then you
慢
become
了，
light
你就跟
right
他
away.
说哦，其实是没有人在那儿的，你马上就觉悟了。
You don't believe me. That's what your problem is. Okay? I'm being
这就是问
very
题。
honest and
我是非
sincere
常誠實跟
right now
誠心的。
for change. Go ahead, 7.
Mô Phật Bạch Thầy, giống người ta có cái tư tưởng đó là suốt cả đời rồi người ta cũng ra đi cũng mang cái tư tưởng đó rồi làm sao thầy?
Not enough blessings. The reason that's a good question. Oh, I've been ignoring the Vietnamese translation. I'm so sorry. Go
我
ahead.
一直在
Translate.
忽略这个粤文的翻譯。
So Master, she was
師父，
asking
我想
like,
要
so
說的
if
就是
you have
呢，
those kind of thoughts,
如果
is
你有
that
這些念頭呢，
because of the
表
karma?
示是因
And
為是
then
業障嗎？
if
還是
you
呢？
have those
如果
kind
你有
of
這
thoughts
些
like your
念頭
whole
呢，
life, and
你
then when
本
you
身呢
die,
一
will
輩
you
子，
bring those
當
thoughts
你
with
死
you?
後呢，你會帶這個念頭跟着你嗎？
I don't know. I'm not.
我
have
不知
never
道，
been dead
我
yet.
從來還沒死呢，所以我還沒有死過，我不知道。
Okay. Just give me a few more years.
就再給我幾年就可以了。
All right. So thoughts. So you start first recognizing these negative thoughts about yourself that pop up in your mind. Get rid of them
从你的心里
immediately.
面马上放下它们。
Let's make a deal. Okay? You can talk all you want. You can read all you want.
你
But
可以说怎么说都可以。
it's meant for you to be able
这就是可以
to
帮助你。
apply it to your daily lives. When you
可以呢。
you wear these negative thoughts, as soon
看
you
到
wear
这些
them,
负面的念头
ignore
呢
them.，
你
They
只
are
要看到它
meaningless.
呢，就不要看它们，它
Okay?
们是
She is so
没有
repulsive. Is that a positive thought or negative thought?
没有意义的。比如说，你说这个人啊，真的是非常非常的讨厌他，这个是
Is that
正面
negative or
还是负
positive?
面的念头？正面还是负面？
Positive.
是正面的。
That you can recognize
那你可以
repulsive
看
people.
到这个令人讨厌的人，令人 不喜欢的人。
You are hopeless. I don't know what else to do with you. That's the next level.
这是下一个程度。
Next level is that first you get rid of the negative
你先把这个
thoughts.
负面的影响都丢掉。
Okay. Next is look at the bright
在
side.
下面就是看这个正面。
She's repulsive. I'm not.
它是负面的，但是我不行。
Yes, Andres. 3.
If you get rid of the negative thoughts, shouldn't you also get rid of the positive thoughts too?
Then what?
你要，所以你既然要把负面的
Then
念头
what's the
丢
point
下，
in living?
那你是不是要把正面的念头也丢下呢？
Well,
活着干嘛呢？
you know, the concept of attraction and aversion. So you're saying get rid of the thoughts that you cause, you know, that you have aversions to. But what about the thoughts that you're attracted to, like, oh my gosh, like this is so cool or something like that?
就说呢，
Like
你知道，就是如果
I
你有
just
这些念头说，哇，
isn't it better just to like not be attached to any of the
你
thoughts,
说
even
哇，
the
这个
like
太
you
棒
said, the
了。比如说
pleasures
你有
or
这些念头
the
说，哇，这个
pains?
东西我太喜欢了，太棒，那不是
Okay.
也比较，就
I
是
give you an
你是不是
example
要
of
可以放
positive
下
thought and
你这
see
些正面的念头？
what do you think you should be doing. Okay?
不是也比较好？那师父说好，我
I
给你
can
一个
give
例
it.
子，
You're
让你
boring.
讲
You
一个
have a
正面
boring
的念
life.
头，看
Nothing
你
really
喜不
worth
喜欢。
talking about. But let's say a person, this man here, look his wife, say, my wife is so beautiful.
假设这个人看到他的太太说：“哦，我太太很美。”
You're not helping.
你没有在帮忙。
Okay. You gonna ignore that?
你要忽略这个念头吗？
Careful.
小心哦。
See? See? Yeah, some thoughts are very good to have.
有些念头是很应该要有的，是一件好事。
You know what I mean?
你懂我的意思吗？
Seriously. Where were we again?
我们是讲到哪去了？
Okay. No, the thing is that
重点是在
you have to
于
start somewhere.
你必须要从
And
某
the
一个地
drill
方
I'm
开始。
giving you today,
这里我跟你
okay,
讲的呢，
is take all negative thoughts and
把
sweep
所
them
有
off.
负面的念头
Don't care what they are.
都把它
Master
丢掉。
so
师父非常的
unfair. Thank you.
不公平。
Unfair. Not true.
并不是。
Okay? It's very simple. You start first with that. You see how wonderful your life becomes.
你从那
Just
先
like
开始，那你知道你的
That's the beginning of wisdom.
生活是怎么样
Why?
开始
Because you're able to do something that
你就
others cannot.
因为你可以做一些
It
别
doesn't
人
matter
无法做的事情，不管
Whether
是什
you're
么，
right
不管
or
你是
they're
对的还是
wrong
错
or
的，
whatever,
不管是
any type of negative
任
thought
何
you're
负
aware
面的
of,
情绪，
dump
你
them.
知道的，都把它丢掉，
Just dump them out. So ignore
就
them.
把它
That's
丢
all you
掉，
have
就
to
把
do.
它
Okay?
忽略它们。
And I would tell you your
那我
life
告诉
is
你，你的
improved
生活
by 60%.
绝对
You're
是
60% happier.
有6会比以前
Yes, sir.
60%多的
You
快
know,
乐。
there's a bunch of new thought, like positive thought, and I've read a bunch of that stuff. And a lot of it is, when you have a negative thought,
当你有
you
负面影
flip
响
it
了，
instantly
你
to
就
a
把它变
positive
成一个
thought.
正面的
So if
念
you're
头。
mad at somebody,
所以你
then
如
you
果
just
不喜欢任何
automatically
人呢，
flip it to
你就
something you
把
can
它变
find
成
that's good about them
你马
or
上就
things like that.
翻过来把它
And I
找
was
到
doing that, and I felt really good
那
for
个
a little
人
bit. And
你喜
then
欢的那
after
个
a
人，
while,
我那时候有
it
这样子
just
做，
it's
结
weird
果
because
呢，
then
过了
you
一段
start
时
getting
间呢，
attached to the
很奇怪呢，
the
你就会
positive
开
things,
始
and
就
it
对
causes a
这
lot of
个
attachment.
你就开始会执着于很多正面的
So
事
in
情。
my opinion, I
所以
definitely
我
feel like
我
it's
个
better
人
just
觉得
to
呢，
try to
就试着
release your attachments
就是要
rather
放下
than
你的这个
trying to think positively
执着，
about things instead of think negatively.
然后就想正面的，而不是想负面的。揍他！
Someone just inspired me.
有些人，有一个人刚刚
to give an answer to that type of question or comment. And I'm thank you for the inspiration.
给他那个
Give me an example.
答案。
If you train yourself,
如果你训练你自己，
we're talking about just us, okay,
我们
not
只
the
是讲我
bodhisattvas.
们，不是讲菩萨
Who
们。
cares about bodhisattvas?
谁
We low
在
level.
乎
Okay.
菩萨们 ？OK。如果你只是
Let's say you agree with me
假设你
that
同意我，
for the next week or two, this week and next week when we do 4G,
当我们做
when
佛
you
系的
have
时候，
any negative
你只
thoughts
要
in
有
you,
任何负面的念头呢，
sweep them off.
你就把它扫
Who's
光。
willing to do that?
谁愿意如此做？
Come on, Koreans, what are you
韩
doing
国
here?
人，你在这干嘛？
What's the matter with these Koreans? Master, say something meaningful. Good Lord. It's so much pressure.
在
You
这
know,
里真的是很
they're
多
in
压
samadhi
力啊，他们
constantly.
都是在
Okay, so
定力之中。
you have these negative thoughts,
所以
okay?
假设
As
你有
soon
这
you
些负面的
recognize the
想法，
negative,
你只要一
okay,
看到它是负面的，
sweep them up, throw them away. Whether they're right or not doesn't matter. They throw them away. If you can do that,
就把它
okay,
丢掉。
you're 60% home. I'm telling you. You try that.
你如果能够
Okay,
如此
this
做
is
的话，
not a
你
joke.
就是
You have to take me
6成就已经
seriously
快
one
达
of
到
these
了
days.
你
I'm trying
那
so
个
hard. Okay?
达到你
And
的
then
目
what
标。
happens, theoretically,
但是呢，基本
what
上
happens when all
你
that's
只要
left is
在那个剩下的
the
呢，
good thoughts,
就
yes?
是那个好的念头。
For example, I love God.
举例说，我爱天主，
Reasonable? It's a positive thought. I love God. I love my wife. I love
是
God. I mean,
合
I
理
love my
的
wife
吗？
more than I love God. Whatever.
他说
Okay.
我爱
I love
天
God.
主
That's
呢
it. Just
比我爱这
from my
个
inspirational moment. Someone walked in. I have an example of what a positive thought. I love God.
他说我爱天主，
Yes, that's a positive thought.
那是正面的。
Okay. How do you deal with that?
那你该如何呢？
What's the matter with you?
你就说你有什么毛病啊？
You have nothing else better to do?
你没有更好的事情做吗？
That becomes negative.
它就变成负面了。
Oh, Mary Jo likes my evil.
Mary 就喜欢我的这个
Even a
邪
positive
恶的部
thought
分，就算
can
一
be
个正
flipped
面
into
的
negative. You look at the right side.
正面的念头，
You
如
look
果
from the right
你
perspective,
看
it's
正对的
negative,
地
it's
方，
not
你从
positive
正确的
at
地方，
all.
它也是负面，它不是正面的。
Yes, Mary Jo.
是的
Let
，Mary
me have it. She's a therapist.
Yeah, well, the way the mind works is that when you have
那
a
个心理就
positive
是说，
thought, the
当你的
negative pops up anyway. It sort of
心里就
comes
是
with
你
it.
有一个正面的念头，这负面的念头
That's
就
why
会
it's
起来，
very
它其
natural
实
for
是
you
一
to
起的。
flip it,
所以
a
你很
positive
容易
into
就可
negative,
以
just
把
like that,
正面的翻
effortlessly.
成负面的，非常
What's the
非
matter
常
with you?
不费吹灰之力就可以翻过来的。
Thank you, Daniel.
谢谢你 ，Daniel。
You see that?
你看到了
It
吗？
takes practice. You have to
是
start first
是要
with
练习。
negative
第一，你要
thoughts.
先从
Just,
负面的
I
念头
don't
开始。
care.
就我不在乎
Whatever you
你
realize
所有
negative,
觉
just
得
sweep
负面的
on.
东
I
西，
don't
就
care.
把它
This
丢
is
掉。
nonsense. This negative
这
thought is
是这个
nonsense.
负面的
Okay?
念头是错的，是
So
错
you
的。
have the skills now.
所以你就有
You're
这个
able to
机
do
会
that，
觉得你已经可以这样
quickly.
做了，
So, and then you realize
然后
that
你就会发现呢，
your positive thoughts are actually
你的
negative because you're looking
正
at
面
the wrong from a
的
wrong
念头
angle.
呢，
That's
其实
all.
是错的，你只是从反面的部分看到的，
So you sweep up the positive thoughts as well.
所以你就把这个负面的念头
What do you
也
have
消掉
left?
了。那剩下的是什么呢？
Happiness.
就只是单纯的快乐而已。
You're not negative.
你
You're
也
not
不是负
positive.
面，你也不是
Okay?
正面
You
的
can，be yourself.
你可以做自己，
You embrace it.
你
Positive,
就
negative
是
doesn't matter
正
to
面
you.
负面对你来说并不
You
重
evil?
要。你
I
是
still
邪
like
恶
you.
的，我还是还是
You
喜
good?
欢你。
It's
你是
okay
好
too.
的，也是可以的。
You're free.
你就自由
You're
了，
free from your
解
petty
脱
self.
了，你就可以
calculating self.
脱离你这个小我。
Okay, never mind. I don't know if that works. I never tried that. Wait, that's a negative thought. Ignore that.
是不是就说啊，我刚讲了一个负面的念头。
All right. So when you get a little bit higher,
所以
when
当你
you're
越来越高
able
的时候呢，
to understand,
你就
have
可
a
以
little bit of
你就有
wisdom,
点智慧
then
呢，
this next is the
你就
next
说
level for you.
这
Then
就
you
是下一
realize
个
that past thoughts
下一个层次，你就知
don't
道
matter.
说这个
Thoughts about the
过
past
去心不可得，
don't
就
matter
是
at
所有
all.
关于
It's
过去
irrelevant. It's
都
gone
是
already.
不重要的，都已经结束了。
Present thoughts
现在心不可得，
don't matter.
现在的心也不
Because
重
soon
要
you。think about it,
你
it
一旦
becomes a
想
past
它，它
already.
就成为过去
Okay?
了。
So there's no such a thing as present
所
thoughts.
以也没有现在心，
And finally, future thoughts
未来心不可得。
are not born yet. What are you doing?
未来心还没
Okay,
我
there's
还
no
没
such a thing
产生
as
出来，
future
那你在
thoughts.
想什么？
Okay?
所以
So that's this
也
is
没有
level,
所谓的未
this
来
is
心
level。
所以
wisdom
这个程度
where
呢，
I feel that
在我觉
the
得呢，
Chinese
很
speak too
多
casually about this.
这个
They
中国
speak
他
of
们在
this
说
as
的
an
时候说的
intellectual
太
exercise.
简
It's
洁，
not.
他们把它讲
This
的
is
好像
meant
是
for
一
people who
种
have some wisdom. So
其实
that
心里面的一
they
个
can
可以做的事情，所以呢，
they
他们
can
就可
they
以，
can let go of their thoughts a
所
lot
以他
more
们就可
easily.
以放下
than the
他们
rest
的
of
念
us.
头。
For the rest of us, we need to start with that. Learn to develop the
所以
skills to
但
get
是
rid
事
of
实上呢，
thoughts.
这个是一些有智
Okay?
慧的人
And
才
so
会有的
might
念
as well
头。
focus on the
所
negative
以我们
thoughts.
最好呢，从这个
How
负
come
面
no,
的
the
念头开
Chinese
始。
never taught
为什么
themselves
中
that?
国从来没有
That's
讲这个
baffling
部
to
分
me.？
觉得我
So
觉
I'm
得
teaching you.
很
We Americans
困惑。
can
那所
can
以我
learn how
们
to do it a lot quicker
美国人
than
可
the
以用这种
Chinese.
方式
Chinese
呢，
too confusing to
可以
me.
很快的
Talk-
做到这一
and
点。
they know too much.
他们了解的太多
They
了，
know a lot of book things, but
他们
they
知道很多
they
的
don't
这个
know how to be, how to use them.
里面的东
They
西，
just
但他们
know
不
a
知
lot
道
of
怎么
things.
用它，他们就只是
You-
知道很
you
多事情。
bring up anything, they say,
你
"Oh,
讲
of
任何
course,
的东
of
西，他
course,
们
I
就说
know."
哦，当然当然，我懂我懂。
No, you don't.
但是你
Yes,
其实并
number
不懂
3.。
第三，
I think that thoughts are like
我觉得这个
paired
念
with
头呢，
feelings a lot of the time, like
其实是
the
跟
negative
这
thoughts and
个
the positive thoughts. So
思想呢是连
is
在一
it
起的。
possible that when you have these
所
sort of
以
thoughts,
当
then
你
the
有这样子
feeling
的
comes
念
up,
头
you
呢，
try to
那个
let go
感
of the
觉会出
feeling,
来。
and the thought will go away?
你只要放下那个感觉，你是不是那个
No.
念头就会
You
就
got
会
the
放下
order
了？
reversed.
是呢，你把
It's
那
feelings
个
that create
顺序
thoughts,
颠倒了，
not
是
the
这个
other way
感
around.
觉造就这个念头的，并不是并不是反过来的。
It's you have feelings first. That's why you have
你有
thoughts.
这个，你先有感觉，你才会有念头的。
Okay. Yes, Mary Jo. Number 5.
This is the exact opposite of what psychology
这个
teaches us.
是
Psychology is
psychology
confused.
讲的，
Yeah.
是相反
It's
的。
the we
心理学
teach
讲的
people that their
是
thoughts are creating their
是你们的念
emotional
头
experiences.
在
But it's actually the
在
other
造
way
成
around. The
你的
feelings
这
are
个感
creating a
觉。
need for us to put meaning and figure out,
但是事实
like we get
上
into
呢，
our
其实
heads
是
about
因
what
为
we're
你的
feeling.
感受
That's more of
呢
what you're describing,
才
Master.
If you
把这个
when you
你
look
的
at the
念
thought
头呢，
creating
才有念
feelings,
头来
those are
去解释你
fabricated.
的感受。
You're personally fabricated feelings. I'm
如果
talking
你
about
讲
feeling
的
a
这
deeper
个那些
level
念头
where
是你自己
they
创造出来的感
arise
觉，我讲的这
automatically
个
without
的
your
受呢，
any
是从你的
intervention from you.
心里面自然里
That
面出
arise,
来
that
的那
feeling,
种感觉。
that's when the
那
thoughts
个
are
感
born
受
from
呢，
those.
然后念头呢是从那些
And
感
those
受
are the
里面
dangerous
出来
ones
的。
that you
这是比较可
therapists
怕
and
的。
psychologists don't know about. That's why you deal with the superficial level, where you say, I have these thoughts here, and therefore they will generate feelings. So you're addressing skin deep level.
所以
Okay?
你在
And it will
讲
not
的
fix the
是，
problems. And it's called job security
这就是
for me.
为什么你们
Okay? To
你
me,
们
it's
这
job
个心理
security.
学
You're
这个
fixing
在
the
教
wrong
你，就是
problems.
说你们讲的问题
What
是
we
不
do
对的，
in Buddhism,
因
we
为
fix the
你们
feeling at a much deeper
你们
level.
先要 解决那个心里的念头，但是呢，在佛教里面，他是先要准备解决这个感受的。Daniel.
7.
So I have a question. So what other thoughts are permanent, and then my second question is
第一个就是念头会是永久的吗？那有智慧以及有念头的差别在哪里呢？
The snack place, is it considered stealing?
Third question, I don't get it. I know it's funny somehow because
第三个问题我听不懂。
it's Catholic humor or something. But what's the third question again?
第三个念头是什么？
Is getting candy from the little snack place stealing?
Huh?
Yeah, downstairs is chocolates.
You've been stealing candies from us?
No.
Okay. Don't do that.
你是在偷我们的糖吗
Easy question.
？What?
No, let me try to answer. You want to answer him or you want to add more questions?
你要回答他的问题，还是你要再讲更多的？我已经忘记他第一个问题是什么，有没有人帮助我
See, even you forgot. And I thought I'm the only one who's old here. Huh? Help us. What's number one again?
The first question was, are there other thoughts that are permanent?
这个念头是
The Buddhists has taught you that thoughts are not permanent. What are you doing asking that question? Oh, you walked in too late. Thoughts are impermanent. They're never permanent. Never, ever. There's no permanent thoughts. No such a thing.
没有，从来没有这个永久的念头是不可能的。没有任何念头是永久的。第二个问题呢？
The second question I forgot.
第二个问题我也忘记了。
That's illegal. Only I can forget about this. Yes, 3.
这是不行的，只有我可以忘记。第二个问题。 念头跟智慧的差别是什么？这是一个愚痴的问题。
What's the difference?
差别是什么？
Night and day.
是黑夜与白天的差别。
What is wisdom? Wisdom is lack of thoughts.
智慧呢，就是没有念头。
If you still have thoughts,
如果你还有念头的话
you're not in a state of wisdom.
你没有在那样的智慧里面。
This is the difference, folks. Let's be clear about it. The difference between ordinary people and lay people, ordinary lay people is, and wise and sages is what?
他们一定会说。
Difference is that
差别在于
a wise person
一个聪明的人，一个有智
can
慧
have
的人，
thoughts just like the rest of us.
他可以跟我们一样有
But they can
念头，
choose not to
但
have
是他可以
thoughts
选
when we
择
cannot have that
也
choice.
不要
We
有
don't
念
have
头
that，
但
choice. We
是
can
我们
choose.
没有那个选择。
The sages, they
这
said,
个圣人就说：“哈，
I don't want any more
我
thoughts.
不要任何念头。”
And they enter this state of wisdom.
他们就能够入那
Whereas
样
we don't have
的
that
这个
choice.
智慧，但是我们没有那
That's the
个选
difference.
择，那是差别在这，
Does it make sense?
懂吗？
It's not supposed to make sense to you.
他其实不应该是对你，
Pass the test. All right?
其实你应该是不
Does
会
it
懂
help?
的，对你们来说。
Okay? So this is why we're
这
teaching
就
you
是
all
当我们
these
在教导
things
你
in
这些
Buddhism
东
is
西，
to
在佛
help
教
you
里面呢，就是
develop
帮
the
助你呢
skills.
能够有这个
I don't want
技
any
能
more
呢，让
thoughts.
我不要任何
So
的
that I
智
can
慧
clear，my head
所以我就可以使我的脑筋清晰，
and remove the
而
confusion.
且呢，不要再
Whereas
觉得
ordinary people don't have
迷惑
that。
但是
choice.
呢，一般人呢是没有那个选
Once
择
they're
的。
confused,
他们一旦呢
anything could happen.
迷惑了，什么事情都可以发生的。
They can't crawl themselves out of that hole. They dig themselves a hole deeper and deeper. Whereas
他们
sages,
没
they
有办
said,
法
oh,
跳出来，但是
time for
呢，
me to shape
这
up
个圣人就说没办
and
法，
flip. When we can't,
那是我们
and
没
whereas
办
they
法。
can. All right? Any other questions?
还有没有别的问题？
Yes.
Yeah, Master. So that's what I was asking. I said so. The thoughts, it's associated with the feeling. So, like you said, the feeling comes up first, and then we have the thoughts. So when you have a thought like that, like let's say you have like negative thoughts over and over again, like but you keep getting rid of the thoughts. Like would you have to deal with that problem on the level of feeling rather than the level of the thought?
你想把那个念头丢弃呢？那你是要从这个他的念头的方向来看呢，还是要从感觉的方向来看？
You're trying too hard.
你太强迫自己在试了。
You're trying to understand.
你一直试着要理解怎么做。
There's no need to understand.
不需要理解。
You only have to do what I told you.
你就只要做我教你做的就对了。
You have to enter that state.
你必须要到那种境界呢，就比较容易可以解释给你听。重点就是呢，一般人呢，他们想要理解所有的事情，但是他们没办法。你解释给他们听呢，他们不懂。
And that's what
这就是为什么呢？
I admired about my late Chinese
我其实
teacher.
对我的这个师父呢，
He's the only one.
他其实是唯一呢，
The
我
only
的
monk
这个
alive
中
I
国
know
师
of
父呢，
that I've ever met, even very briefly. He's the
我
only
先
monk
遇到的，
who
他是唯一的
teach us
这个
how to
师
develop
父呢，
wisdom.
告诉
He
我
has
们如何
his
开智
steps
慧。
on how to do it.
他有这些
Whereas the
一
all
个
the
一
other
个
monks
的
I
这
know,
个方
including
向
his
呢，
disciples, I
教我们
asked
怎么开智
all
慧。
of
所
them.
有的人告
I'm
诉我
very
们，
demanding as a person.
问他们，
Okay, I ask you Buddhists talk to
就说你
me,
们
talk
佛教徒告诉
about
我，告
first
诉我
stage
呢，
arhat.
第
How do I become first stage arhat?
一果罗汉
Can you tell
如
me
何
how?
成一果罗汉？你
Step
告
number
诉我
one,
如何
step
成一
number
果罗
two,
汉。
3, 4, 5.
1、
Tell me.
2、3、4、5。
Okay. Don't tell me about the theory.
不要跟我
I'm more
讲这
interested
个
in
理论
being there.
我只是讲到那
Don't
儿。
tell me about Paris.
不要跟
Tell
我
me how
讲
to
巴
get
黎，
there.
告诉我怎么样
The
去
steps.
到巴黎。
By air, by sea? Huh?
是坐车还是飞，还是坐船？
I don't care, but help me
告
get
诉我，
there.
告诉
Don't
我如何
describe
到
it
那，
to
不
me.
要解释
And
给我
he's the
听。
only one
他就是唯
that who
一
could
呢，
describe, who would
可
tell
以
you,
告
give
诉
you the
我，
recipe, the steps and how to get there. And they all work, by the way.
然后
He's
呢，可以告诉我
extraordinary
这个
human being.
一步一步怎么
He's
到
the
达
only
的，而
one
且
I
都
know
是
of
有
who
用
can
的
do。that.
他只有我听过，唯一看过的一个
Unfortunately,
师傅可以做的这件事的
After
人。
he died,
但
no
是
one
他
else
走了以
could.
后，没有人可以了。
That's what's disappointing
这就
about
是
him. I'm disappointed
我觉得很，
at him for
他
that.
让我觉得很失望的地方。
Why?
为什么？
He has his treasure
他
for
有这个
humanity.
宝藏，对这个
didn't pass it
人类
on
的宝藏，但是他没有把它
to the
传
next
下来
generation.
到下一代去。
That's disappointing. If you have a treasure,
如果你是有这个
you're
宝
supposed to
藏，
pass it on to your children.
你就其实应该要给你的孩子，你其实要传给你的
Understand?
下一代，
It's your
懂吗？
responsibility.
是你的责任。
But anyway, so
但
he's
是
the,
呢，
but this is all we have.
这就是我
He's
们
a
所
great
有
man
的。
who's no longer
这是一
with
个
us.
非
So he
常伟
took
大
with
的
him
这
a
个师
lot
傅
of his，
他已经不
secrets.
再给我们，所以
And,
他把他很多的秘密
so
呢
that
带
to me
走
is
了。对我来
disappointing
说呢，
with
其实
what
非
he
常
left
令人失
behind.
望的。他留下来的
disappointing
其实是非常失望的。
That knowledge
那个知识呢，
was lost. It's lost.
其实呢已经失去了。
I'm very disappointed.
我其实
Anyway
对这件事情是非常失望。
3.
第三，
Thank you, Master. When I first started
当我开
attending
始
your Dharma talks
听
many
你的
years
这
ago,
个说法的时
you
候
gave
呢
me，a treasure
你给我了很
that, with
多
your，permission,
你
I
给我一
would
个宝
share with
藏。
Andreas because it's on this
那我
topic.
可以跟 Andreas 分享。
You suggested,
你
well, you armed me with a Vajra sword
你给我一
that
个
I could
这个
use
金刚
when
刀呢，
thoughts came into my mind,
当我有
like
念头在我的
stop
心
crossing
里
your
面呢，
legs.
叫我
You
停止
have a
呢
Vajra sword, which is
盘腿呢， 你就有一个金刚刀呢，是非常尖利的金刚刀呢，你就把那个刀呢，把它打碎到没有。然后我已经很多年都在用这个方法，但是我给大家一个。怎么可以看到它呢？就是有一个 video game， 它叫做 Beat Saber， 就是你有很多这些东西在你面前，往你在有很多很多的这个东西在往你面前飞，所以你手里面就拿一把刀，就可以把它们挥掉。
Very good. It works. It works for him. It doesn't work for everyone.
对他来说有用，这是对每多人，这对这个喜欢暴力的人有用。
Talk to Mary Jo.
请跟 Mary Jo 讲话。
You should have a talk with her. Yes, Daniel. Catholic violent?
I have another question. In that case, where does wisdom...
I ask you a question first. Are Catholics violent?
Catholic
我
what?
问你，天主教徒是会暴力吗
Violent.
Violence?
Yes. It's a simple question.
这只是一个非常简单的问题啊。
Is the Catholics violent?
Yeah. Are you violent?
你是
Me, myself,
你是暴力
yes.
呢？你是暴力的人吗？他说我是
Catholic.
他不是 Catholic。
Go
他
ahead,
不是天
ask
主
the
教徒，
question.
请说你的
Good
问
Lord,
题。
I know more about your Catholicism than you. You should not be violent, my friend. Look at us Buddhists. We are very, peaceful, loving people.
你看我们佛教徒是非常宁静跟不会是
I
暴
have a
力的
question.
人。
So,
我的
where
问
does
题
the
是，
wisdom come from? Does it come from higher power? Does it come from Buddha? Does it come from
那
you?
个智
Where
慧
does
是从哪
wisdom
里
come
来的
from?
呢？
It comes
是从
from
你
me,
那
of
来的吗？
course. Why did he
从
come
我这
here?
来的吗？当然是
Why
从
do
我
you
这
keep on
来
coming
的。
back? Because
为什
you're
么在
trying to
这？你
steal
为
the
什么一直
wisdom
回
from
来？因
me.
为你要从这边偷我的智慧啊！
Where does it come from?
它是从
In
哪来的
Buddhism,
呢？
wisdom
在佛教
comes
里
from
面呢，
inside
智
of
慧
you.
是从你的由你心里面
Meaning
而
that
起，由内
wisdom
而起，
is
就表示这个智慧呢
inherently inside of
是
you.
本来在你心里面就
You
有
just
的，
don't know how
你
to
只是
use it.
不知道怎么用它而
Remember
已。
my definition of a
懂
sage?
吗？你记不记得
is
我
that the
说这个
sage, he
圣人
said,
的这个
I have
定
these
义？
thoughts.
就是他
I'm
说我
having
有
a
这
good
个
time
念
with
头，
my friend,
我跟我朋
my
友
son.
呢
Let's play baseball.
说我们
Let's
来
go
玩
to
这个
ball
baseball， 我
game.
们去一个看球
Let's
赛，
go to the zoo.
或者是我们去动物
Okay?
园。
All those are wonderful
这个都
thoughts
是
you
非
should
常
be
好的
sharing
念
with your
头，
family.
你应该跟你家里
All
的
right?
人分享。
But when the time
但
comes,
是等到
when
时
you
间
need
到
to,
的时候，
to
你需
resort to
要
wisdom to solve your problem, you say, oh,
智
I'm
慧
not
来
thinking
解决
anymore.
你的
That's when the
问题
solution
的
is
时
the
候，你就
best.
说我不想什么，这就是为什么那时候的
See that?
这个
So in Buddhism,
solution 是
we
最好的。
recognize that.
所以
That's
在
why
佛教里面呢，我们
we
知道，
train our people.
我们训练我们
It's
的
a lot of
朋友
emphasis
们
in
呢，
Buddhism
是
to
这样子
train
讲
our
的。
people to learn not to think. It's a time that you should not think. Those times are the times when you need to solve problems. When you need to solve important problems, that's when you stop
当你需
thinking.
要解决重要问题的时候，你就不想了。
That's what Buddhists, that's the difference between Buddhists and Catholics. Catholics, you keep on praying to God, keep on praying for help and so forth. Help, 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 help. Okay? In Buddhism, we stop thinking and calm down, and the clarity will come.
所以这个
That's why
你就要停止
these
思
are
考，
for
所以
superior
那
people,
个
my friend.
你的那个
You see, in your world, Mary Jo, you explain people when you have this problem, this is what, this is why, this is why, this is what you should do to counter that. You're still thinking. In our world, okay, you have a problem, cut it out. What thoughts? What me? There's no me, there's no thoughts, there's no one who's thinking, there's no one who's upset, there's no one who's miserable. Who's feeling miserable? No one. Who's thinking? No one. Who loves God? No one. So you can love God one moment, next moment, I'm above God. Because you don't think anymore. God loves, but we don't love. Yes, sir. 7.
I do like that idea. However, I see a flaw with it. The flaw with I see is like, for example, my clients. How can I tell my clients cut the thought when they can't even cut the thought because they're not?
It's different. That's a different problem. I'm talking about normal situations where by yourself. Let's say you live in a world where you're there by yourself. No one at all. No one around you. Okay? Then you can do what I just told you. You can stop. However, for many of us, it's not the case. For many of us, our wife owns us. We love our wife dearly. So they own us. So when they call, yes, dear, how can we ignore them? Brady, you need to control yourself. This is one of my highest level Dharma I'm teaching you, and I'm not sharing these things with you anymore. Huge loss, yeah, to humanity. No, there are cases where actually I'll tell you one thing that I'm joking, of course, but the one thing that many of you experience is that, for example, thoughts of depression. Where does it come from? Let me tell you, not you. You have thoughts that you feel bad about yourself. Huh? These negative thoughts I talked about, some of them you will not be able to get rid of because they're not yours. Okay? And that's your reality. You can only get rid of the thoughts that are yours. Then once you get to that point, you realize many of these thoughts are not yours. They keep on coming back, coming back, coming back. That's how you can tell it's not yours. Does it help? Man, you can tell you're depressed. Don't need no test, no therapist. They don't know. All those tests they came up with are not practical. Because it costs us money. I'm giving you free tests, free home kit. You know, if they keep on coming back the same thoughts, okay, you're depressed. Recognize that. Get help. Because that means if they keep on coming up like that, that means you cannot stop them. Get help. Don't be stupid. Is it clear? You need to know your limitations. Your own thoughts, your own negative thoughts, you can control them. But there are many cases for many of you, those thoughts are so strong. They keep on coming back time and time again. Okay? That's when you recognize it's not yours. We should be charging money for this, you know that, Mary Jo? We should make a fortune doing this. Save the world a lot of grief. Yes, 9.
From Derek, Master, it sounds simple to do nothing with a negative thought, but sometimes it feels like too big an issue to ignore. For example, my mom has issues with me going to the temple. We fight about it. How can I start to sweep the negative thoughts away?
那我们就会开始吵
You're
架。
depressed. Get some
那我
help.
怎么样能够把这个负面的这个念头丢掉呢？师父说你是忧郁的，
Okay?
所以
Keep
你
him
要
coming
有人在
back.
帮
That's
助
not
你
you.。
如果他一直回来，这个念头一直回来，那不是你的，你需要有人帮助你。
Okay. All right. So remember, thoughts are impermanent. The practical implications are that you can sweep them off. The Chinese, the Indian, they teach them like some like scholarly thing. Thoughts are impermanent.
所以这个念头是负面的。
It's meant to advise you to ignore them. Better yet, just
能够 ignore 他们，
dump them.
就把他们丢掉。
All right? But always, of course, there's always exceptions. I just pointed out to you. There's some thoughts you cannot dump because they're not yours. Then you can't dump them. You didn't generate them. What are you doing? Okay. All right. So 3 minds of past, present, future are nonsense. Cannot be obtained. I mean, the Chinese is just so complicated. It annoyed me when I first started. 三心了不可得，三心不可得。In Chinese, I say, cannot be obtained. Come on. It only means that just don't think about it. But the Chinese have a tendency to glamorize everything. And that's why their youngs are so confused. 三心不可得. They all mention that, they all quote
三
that.
心不可得，
But they don't know what it means. It means that
观
you
心无
should
常心。
ignore them. You should sweep them up. It's that easy. If you know how to do that, then you
如
don't
果你
even
知道如
bring
何
it
做
up.
的话呢，你就不
Because you
你
want
就
to
不
keep the
不需
secret,
要再把
don't
它
you?
讲出来，你需要这个秘密，不是吗？
The 4 marks are then empty.
所以这个四相
When
就空了，
this is again, this is a little bit higher level.
这是比较
Okay.
高层次
So
的。
when you don't think of the past
当
or
你不会
present or
想
the
到
future, then the 4 marks. There's no more 4 marks
前面
naturally. What are the
现
4
在跟未
marks?
来，你就会
Marks.
自然有这个四项。四项呢，
The 4 marks. Well, in future we know what the 4 marks
我
are.
们知道这
Okay.
四项
The
是什么。
4th contemplation.
第四呢，四念
Station
处
of
呢
mindfulness,
就
you
是这
should
个观
always
法
be
无我。
mindful of this,
你就
always
应该要
remember
想
this.
到
Number 4, dharmas without self. Okay.
第四呢，
Everything
观
you
法
observe
无
in the
我
world,
你们
okay,
在这个世
has
间
no
上所
self.
看到的呢，都是无我的。
Anything and
所有
everything
你
has
们
no
看到
self.
的东西都是无我的，
Okay. Whether it's form dharma,
不管是色
has
法，
no self. That has
是
shape
无我。
will lose its form.
那个有形状的东西，渐渐的会失去了它的形状。
Feelings
受法所感受的
are not real.
也不是真实的，
Okay. It's okay to enjoy those feelings.
是
Those are
可以
natural, but don't be attached to feelings. Meaning
是
what?
可以享受这些感受，但是不要
As
执着
long
于
as you're
它。
alive,
所
you have
以
these
表示
natural
呢，当你
feelings will arise in
只要你
you.
活着呢，
Feeling
你
of
自然会有
warmth,
很多，比如
feeling
说
of
你觉得
comfort.
很温暖
Yes?
觉得
Those are
很
natural
舒服，
feelings.
这是非常自
Okay?
然的感受。
Don't be attached.
但是不要执着于
That's
它
all.，
就这样子。
Thoughts, okay? Thoughts are
想法。
impermanent, okay? Formations are the automatic
所以
thoughts
这个
that automatic
呢
functions inside your body,
是
like
在你的心里
digestion,
面呢，比如说
like
你在
breathing,
你
like
在呼
blood
吸，
circulation.
你的这
Okay?
个身体的
And
呼吸。
finally, consciousness,
最后呢，
dharma,
心法。
consciousness is awareness. Okay, those are the
这些都是呢
the components of the self. Questions, comments?
然后再来是释法。
Okay, Conk has a question.
Conk 有问题。
She was about to sneak out and say, "Oh, no one is here, so no one's going to notice me." Not.
没有人会知道我在这的。
Go ahead, Conk.
Hello, regarding the feeling and thoughts.
关于这个受法以及
I
想
interact
法
with a lot of people here in Korea, and then I noticed that
我见到
when
在韩国见到非常多的
because
人，
the
因
way
为我有
place
注意到说
is a special
这个道
environment.
场是一个很特别
When
的环境
somebody
的。
has a
当有
feeling
一
of
个人
anger
有这
or
个
happiness or
快乐
whatever
或者
that is,
是
it
生
seems
气的
like
念
people
头，
are
不管是
looking
什
for
么
a
的
reason
感
to
觉，
cope
大家
what it
都
is.
在
So they keep asking, why is this?
想
Why
要
is this? Why is this?
想要
So it's almost
一
like
个理由来去看，
it's
来
just
去
like
了解它是
automatic
什么，所以大家会一直问说为什么会这样？
form
为
of
什么会有这
thoughts
个感觉？为什么会有感
to
觉？
understand.
那
I think that's
要
like
去理解它，好
how
像
we
是一个非
are.
常自然的现
So
象，因为大
maybe
家
that's
都是这个
related
样
to
子
this
的。
topic.
所以当我们讲到这的
Just
时
a
候，
personal
所以这是我
observation
个人的
that we are all
这
doing
个
that all
注
the
意的地
time.
方，我们常常在做的。
So what's wrong with that?
所以差别是什么呢？
Adding the comment that the thoughts
所
arise
以我
from
只是要
feeling.
讲说这个，我只是要
Okay.
附加说这个
So I
念
thought
头
was
其实
interesting
是从感
because
受而
I
起的。
at the
所以
beginning
我
I
觉得很
didn't
有意思的。一
understand
开始我其实并不懂呢。
much about it, and then more and more there's more
很多
interaction with
但是
people, and
呢，当
then
我跟
they
别
keep
人接
asking
触
me
多的时
why
候，
do
他
I
们就
feel
问我
like
说
this?
为什么
Why
我
do
会
I
有这
feel
个
like
感
that?
觉？为什么
And
会这
people
样
are
子
really
感觉？
focused on
他们
finding
其
a
实非
reason
常
why
着重于要知道为什么。
So that's just additional comment to that information.
Okay, why? Okay. All right, anyone else? Yes, 5.
I find that what Shannon just said is interesting
因为
because
我觉得显然这讲的
feelings
是非
arise
常
sometimes
有
for
趣的，
no
因为有很多
apparent
感
reason
受
that at
呢
least the，
它会
logical
自
mind
己
can
出现。
understand. So
其实
there can
你
be
的这
10
个
people
心
you
里
run
面是无
into
法
during
理
the
解
day, and。
你
then
可
one
能
person
遇到10个人，但
creates
是某
feelings
一
in you
个
that you don't
人
even understand why
他
you
就
have
给
that
你
with
一
that
个感
person.
觉，但是你都不知道为什么你会有这
Feelings
个
of
感
anger,
觉。
you mean?
It could be
也
anger,
可以是
love, whatever it is, but there's no
这个
reason
是
why one person
嗔或者
creates
是
that and another
爱。
doesn't. And then you wonder, like, did I
这
know
就为什
that
么
person from another life? Like,
为什么
where's this coming from?
其中有一个人有，但是其他人都不会给我这个感觉，那你就会觉得
Alright.
说我是不是前世就认识这个人？那你为什么要知道呢？
Still need to know why.
还是要知道，还是必须要知道为什么？
The problem with the people who insist on knowing why is that it's endless. As soon you answer the first why, then you ask why on those answers. So the best way to deal with that is that there's no why. Okay, but Xianan is a salesman, so she can't say there's no
但
why.
是显安是一个，他是专门是在销售的
So,
人，所以他没有办法告诉你为什么。
It's part of the learning process where people naturally, when you first came to the temple,
当他
we
来
have to
到
tell
你
you
就
why
会，我们就
to
要告诉
appease
你
you.
为什么，让你
to
觉
reassure you
得
you're on the
让
right
你知道
track.
说你是没
But
有问题的。
eventually,
但是过一段时
eventually,
间以后
once
呢，
you
你一旦
understand,
理
once
解
you
了以后
believe,
呢，
when you see the results
你看到这个
of
结果
your
呢，
spiritual practice,
是你的
there's no need
这
to know
个
why anymore.
spiritual practice，你就不
Because
需
the
要知道
why
为什么，
is but a thought.
因为你
So
要知道
ignore
为
that
什么，
thought
也只
even.
是另外一个
But I
燃
can't
起
tell
的念
Sianan
头
yet.
而已，你就
She has to
不要
sell.
想那个念头。但是我没有办法告诉显安，因为他必须要销售他的
Okay.
想法。
When you need to sell,
但是
that's when
当
you
你需要
when you explain why. You don't
需
need to
要
sell,
在
there's no
卖的
why.
时候呢，那就是你要解释为什么。你如果不需要卖的时
Eventually,
候，你就不需要解释
they'll
为
be
什么
taught,，they'll
慢
be
慢你
taught
就会知道了，
to recognize the why.
就知道为什么了。
That is not necessary.
其实并不是要知道为什么
Okay.
并不重要。
And there are 3 sufferings in Buddhism.
三苦。
Well, you should memorize these things
苦。
because you recognize
坏苦。
this is what happens to us.
辛苦。
Suffering within suffering. You suffer and it's not bad enough. Something else comes along and compounds the problem, makes it worse. Okay? So that's the nature of suffering, by the way.
这就是苦
Okay?
的这个本
Sometimes it's
质。
not additional suffering, it's just
但是
discovering
并不是
that you suffer somewhere else as well. Okay?
并不是
You weren't aware of. That's all. The
并
suffering
不
is
是特别的
endless.
苦，只是你突
You
然
look
发现
closely
了
enough,
你一直
you
都
is
在受
suffering.
苦，只是你
And
都
you
不
look
知道
another
你在受
place,
苦。
it's another form of
所以
suffering
呢
itself. Okay? So suffering,
苦
when you're
呢，
within the suffering, you see
在
more
苦里
suffering
面呢，你
within
就
you,
看到
more
更
and
多
more
苦，
and
就
more
会看到更
suffering
多
is
苦，更多
endless.
苦，是
All right?
无尽的苦。
But it's too depressing to think
但
like
是
that.
当
But
你
that's
这
the
样子
truth.
想了，
That's
其
the
实你会
nature
觉得
of
非
our
常的难过。
existence.
但是这就是我
You
们
can
存
deny
在
it
的这
all
个
you
本
want,
性
but。that's the way it
但
is.
是这是
Okay?
非常自然的
Suffering and
一
decay,
个现象。
decay here to me
像这里呢，
is like
这里就是说
aging,
坏
which
苦，
is
坏
not your
苦呢
problem.
其实就是
Right,
年老的
Brady?
问题。
They don't
这不是你
appreciate
的
what
问
it's
题，
like to have
他
the
们没
body
办法
decay
知道
on you.
说，当你的
You know?
身体呢已经开始坏了，已经开始老了。
Sabina have no clues.
Sabina 一点都
Why?
不知
You know,
道
why?
为什么。
Sabina is still growing. The
Sabina
body is
还在
still
长
growing.
大。
For us, the body is dying.
我们大家
Okay,
的
it's
身体
shrinking
都
and
在
it's losing
都
its,
在
its vigor, its enthusiasm,
减少
you know, and so forth.
都在毁
But
坏
Sabina is
出
just the
出
exact
走向
opposite.
老化
Oh,
的
life's
阶
so
段。但是 Sabina 就
fascinating.
说，
It's so much fun.
但是呢，人生
No,
是多
for us
有
it's
趣的啊。
It's very depressing. Something you can look forward to, honey.
但是呢，是非常的
You will too will
可怜
experience
的，
that.
所以
Guaranteed.
师父跟 Sabina
Okay?
说，这就是你以
So
后可以
suffering
预
and
期
decay
的。
is that
可以
it
见到的。
comes about, the suffering is because we have something and we lose it.
所以苦呢，就是我们有些，就是再
Okay?
来剩下
Suffering
的
within
这
suffering is
个
that you suffer and
辛
discover
苦呢，
actually
就是
it's
说
also
你发
something
现
else
呢，
that we
其
should
实
be
呢，
suffering
比
as
如说
well
你应该得
because
到的东西，
suffering.
就你没
And
得
then you
到的。
also discover this is
然后你就
very,
会就发
very
现说，这
depressing,
是
let me
非常
tell you.
非常可
It's
怜
because
的。
your
因为
suffering is not bad and you realize that, that
你就知道说
that actually you're not just you're just not heartbroken
你只
because your
是
wife is divorcing you, but also you discover that actually your son here really hates you. Okay, and so forth. It's a multi-layer suffering. This is why people cannot handle it.
这是为什么大家没有办
People
法
get depressed, especially in
能够面
modern
对它，
era.
因为
People
你
are
就
so
发
easily
现有很
depressed.
多苦
Many of them
是
have
很多
depression,
很多
especially kids.
沉的
You know,，
尤其是我看到
a few
很多
years
孩子
later,
们呢，
Sabina will experience this.
像几年之后，Sabina 自己也会感受
The
得到，
kids
所有的孩子呢
have depression. It's
都
because
是有
they're discovering.
depression，
The more
都
they
是
know,
有忧郁
they
的。
realize it's
他们越来
it's
越
endless
看到
suffering.
呢，
So
这个
depressing. There's no end
活
in
着就
sight.
是都是苦的。这时候呢，
Okay? Suffering and decay is that you start having something you of value that you appreciate.
然后坏苦
Then
呢
you
坏苦在这里
you
就是
start
说，
losing it.
你有一个非常值
Okay.
得你保存的东西，
It's
但是慢慢的
terrifying.
它就要坏了。
All right? Suffering or life process is also the part of
辛苦呢。
where yes 5.
I just want to say, Master, that
第五，
Buddhism really is the only program that will teach you what you will gain from suffering, whereas in the greater reality, without this belief system,
所以我要讲
it's
说
just，like
佛
you
法
said,
呢，真的
it's
就
a
是真的
form
可以
of
教导你
depression, of
说，
loss,
你这
of
样
lesser,
你要怎么
of
样可以
disappointment.
生
But it
活？
doesn't have to be
不然
that
的
way
话
as
呢，
Buddhism teaches us.
其实你就会
Exactly. Thank you for the
活在
comment.
这个
You're Buddhist, right?
为了这个忧郁啊，被其他的
Just to
事情啊
clarify
干
for
扰的这
Daniel.
个生活之下，只有佛教
See, Daniel wants
可
to
以教你。
clarify. Yes, sir. 7.
Daniel 他要说，
I disagree with the gentleman. I
他说
think
我不
Catholic
同意
teaches you
他
the
刚刚讲
same
的。
thing about
我觉得其他的
losses
这个教导
and
呢，也是
suffering
也有讲
and
到
what
苦
we，can gain from suffering, which
而
is
且
the
我们可
ultimate
以
goal
怎
is
么样面对
salvation.
他们，最后得到救赎。
Dream on.
然后师父就说 “Dream on”。 继续做梦吧。
Okay, anyone else?
还有没有人
Okay, suffering and decay. I have this theory
所
here.
以呢，
I
我个
don't
人
know
是
you
有这个理
agree with
论，
me or
我不
not.
知道你们同不同意。
You know, some years ago, like 10 years ago, I
我
read
记得
this
10年前呢
statistics
我读到
that
这
was
个数据
baffling.
呢
Is Sangwook online? Sangwook, are you there?
Sunwalk Online 在网络上吗？你在那儿吗？
Where did she go?
他去哪了？
Oh, she's back there. Hello,
她坐在后面。
Venerable Sangwook.
Venerable Sunwalk
Say hello. 안녕하세요.
跟大家
안녕하세요.
And then you see, the statistics it says, for us,
有一个数据呢，就在
we
讲说，
will experience
我知
backache.
道呢，我们都会
Sound familiar?
遇到这个
Backache,
背痛
back problems.
背的问题。
How many of us?
有多少人呢？
100%.
100%，
All of
每
us
个人
will experience
都会
some kind of back pain or
会感
back
受到这
problems
个背的问
in
题，
our life.
在我们的人
All
生
of
中。
us. Kim Dean has went through it at least 20 times
可
already.
能已经遇到了大概20次了吧？
You agree with that or not?
你同意还是
I
不同
found
意？
it baffling. 100% of us will have backache. No avoiding it. When I read it, no more like 30 years ago, you know what happened to me? Next week,
就当我读的时
my
候，
back
大概
locked
是
up on me. I was bedridden for 4 days.
但是呢，大概几十年前吧，
It's
我读到
fascinating.
结果呢，
My
下
back
个礼
actually
拜
locked up on
呢，
me.
我的背呢突然就不动了，然后
I
我
was young
就
too.
坐在
full
我
of
就在
life.
4天都不能
Not
动。
like right now, I'm bitter. Huh? Okay? So I hope it's not possible for any of us to avoid getting a backache. So far, so
你
good?
们都不可能逃过
Okay.
会遇到背
Here's
痛
my
的这个问
theory.
题。所以我的理论
What's
是
my
什么呢？
theory?
我的理论是什么呢？
You
你
will
呢？
be depressed.
你们都会遇到
100%.
忧郁症，100%，
Life is too much.
因为人生呢
Life
太
is too much
太
for
辛
us.
苦
It's
了，
overwhelming.
是太
We will be
复
depressed.
杂了。
Albeit maybe a
我
short
们每个
duration or
人
whatever,
都
but
会
we'll
遇到忧
all
郁
be
的时候，
depressed,
每个人都会有的，
including
可能时间
Catholics.
长短的问题。
You know? What do you think? You agree or
你
disagree?
同意还是不同意？
Yes, Anna.
安娜，请说。
You experience depression already.
你们已经都感受
See,
到
now
这
it
个
touches a
抑郁。
nerve. One,
I had an experience going with the rehab doctor at the osteopathic center in San Diego. And I took all my, what is it called? The doctor's studies on my back and all that.
no. Weed?
My husband and I.
Oh, your husband. Sorry.
So when I arrived there, he says, I don't need to see any of that. And he told me, tell me what's the worst that is happening right now in your life. So then eventually he went on to explain that our back problems are emotional problems. So he says, the Dr. Sarno, he already passed away, but he was a very popular and a very good doctor for many sports and athletes.
Sports medicine. Yes.
And he would be helping them to identify that they need to address the emotional aspects in their lives.
Yeah.
我们就有遇到那个
And then he went on to say that his father is one of the teachers and I think it's USC San Diego. So, and they don't practice any kind of medications in the patients. But they just said that emotions are the ones who distort our backs.
Okay, that's why we're depressed?
I'm not depressed, but you might identify that I'm depressed.
She sounds so defensive.
I mean, I don't feel that. I might be in denial. Thank you.
Well, you're still young, so you still have time. Mark my word. Someday you wake up and say, Master Yung-Hua is right. I'm depressed. Hey, doctor, what do you think? It's a good field.
请问
Good profession
这个
you go
医生
into.
觉得，
Yeah,
我是要讲说，
my practice focuses a lot on the bodily symptoms that are the results of emotions and teaching people about that. So I agree.
All right. So it's just even if the diagnosis is there, is not there, but you will experience thoughts of depression, for sure. Okay, at some point in your life. Anyway, finally, the number 3 kind of suffering is suffering of process. This relates to the thoughts of depression as well. Thoughts process, the suffering of process that refers to the fact that thoughts are born into your mind. The thoughts come to your mind. Okay, and they continually, they come and die, they come and die. Okay. And that's that you have no control over it. Okay, that's a subtle form of suffering that people are in denial about. Okay? They accept the fact that they have thoughts, but they don't realize those thoughts are actually torture. A form of torture, either from yourself or from your creditors. All right? So we can learn through meditation, through our spiritual practice, to stop tormenting ourselves, so that we can better recognize the torment from our creditors and address them and resolve them. All right? Questions and comments? Or Buddhism also talked about suffering in a different way of classification. We classify life suffering as 3 types: suffering of within suffering, suffering of decay, and suffering of a life process. Okay, but also you can look at the 8 sufferings. Suffering is can be categorized as 8 types: birth, old age, birth, aging, sickness, and death. And that's happens to all of us. Okay, we're born. The birth is very painful, not for just the mother, but also for the child. Old age is nothing we can do. The body ages, and that's we're helpless against it. Okay. And that suffering there is no way for us to avoid. Number 3, suffering of sickness. Okay, at some point in time, we will become sick. In particular, as you get older, you experience more sickness as a predecessor to death. Death is probably a terrifying process, and most of us, all of us, are secretly afraid of this thing here called death.
因为呢，我们大部分的人呢，都是
terrified
暗
with
中的，
that
其实是非常
thought
恐惧
of
这个
death,
死亡的来临。
with the thought that we
就是
eventually
有
will
这个
have to
念头
die,
就是我
and
们
we
最后
don't.
终
There's
究是
nothing you
会
can
死
do
亡，
about it.
是没有你可以做的。
Yeah. Even Buddhas have to die. No one is exempt from it.
去世，没有人是可以
It's a matter of time. Okay? And especially in ordinary people, they have no way of controlling that. Okay? There's nothing they can do about it. Okay? And the fifth kind of suffering is suffering for being separated from those who love. Okay? That's what happens when you love someone and you are attached to them and you don't want to be. So when you're separated from them, that suffering is pretty intense. Okay? Another suffering is being around the people that you hate. You run away from your house and you come to the temple, you find yourself facing a person you don't like at all. There's no place where you're safe from the people that you hate. Okay? And that is, especially for monks, it's very bad for us. We thought we left our homes, come to the temple, we have a pure life. No, we found ourselves stuck with the people that we cannot stand.
道场呢，以为我们会有一个清净的日子，结果呢，我们来到道场，发现我们跟着我。反而变得跟一群人没有办法面对的人。
Share the personal experience?
有没有人要分享个人的经验呢
Ain't got all day. Okay, go quickly, please.
没有一整天的时间。师父，我同意。
Go on. Names, places, time, country.
有名字、地点，哪一个国家
？Anyone else?
还有没有别人
I'm talking about monks and nuns
我
here.
在讲出家人哦。
That's air some dirty laundry. Q&A. Q&A. No?
没有吗
Okay. Tuan changed his mind.
突然改变主意了。
Okay. Okay, so it's number 7, suffering or not getting what one wants. Okay. One thing that comes to mind immediately is be ignored by the ones you love.
就是被你爱的人
You
不理
desire.
你，
That
你
is
想
a
要跟他
lot of
在一起，
suffering.
就是求不得苦，
Okay.
那是很多苦的。
8, suffering of the raging
第八
blaze of the
呢，
five
五阴
skandhas.
之胜苦。
This refers to the fact that
这里就是在讲，
because
其实
I
你
don't
们
know why
我不知道为什么
the
呢？
Chinese choose to be so
中国
scholarly
人呢
when they
为
explain
什么
these
会
things.
如此的学术性的在解释这些东西？
What does it mean, the raging blaze of five skandhas? It is so
之胜
literary.
苦的意思是什
You
么？
know, the 五阴智胜苦. Okay, 2 is burning. Okay,
智就是在燃烧
胜
的意
is
思，
violently
胜就是非常
burning, viciously.
凶猛的在燃烧的意思。
What does it mean?
意思是什么呢？
What does it mean? What are the Chinese saying? What are the Indians saying with this teaching, this truth here about our lives, about ourselves? It's not about the Indian, not about China. It's not about Afghanistan.
也不是关于阿富汗。
Okay.
这个教诲是在说
What
什
is
么？
this raging blaze of the five skandhas? No, you wouldn't know.
你不会知
But
道。
give it a
你不会懂
chance anyway to see how shallow the Catholic's
看看
teachings are.
这个天主教的教导是有
7.
多肤浅的。
What are skandhas exactly?
See?
skandha
The rest my case. You don't even know what's 5
连
skandhas.
五音是什么都不懂。
Anyone else?
还有没有
What
别
does
人
it mean?
意思是什么呢？
I was about to explain to
我
you.
本来是要解释给你听的。
This simply means
这
that
其实就是呢，
the one who's causing really
这些
the thing that causes the
造
suffering for
成你
you
的
is
受苦的地方是
yourself.
你自己，
You cause your own suffering
你造成你自己的苦，
because
因为呢，
you still have a self.
你还是有你，因为你还是有一个我，
As long as you have a
只要你有
self,
一个自我，
you will
你就
torment
会
and punish
一直去
and torture yourself.
去
Depressing, isn't it?
去折磨你
I'm
自
out to
己。
prove that all of you will be depressed.
我就是要证明你们所有的人
Seriously.
最后都会忧
When
郁
you
的。
realize that, you
当你
should
发
be
现的时
depressed
候，你
because
其
the
实应该要
suffering
忧
comes
郁，
from
因为这个
us,
苦
no
是
one
从
else's.
我们自身而来的，不是从别的地方来的。
Yeah, listen.
举例来说，
Suffering from being apart from the ones you love. Get a
爱
new love.
别离苦，那你可以再找一个新的爱，不是吗？
Easy solution, yes?
是一个简单的
Suffering being around those who hate.
理由。
Shoot them.
怨憎会苦，那你就杀了他们吧。
Suffering not get what you want.
求不
Steal
得
it.
那你就可以去偷吧。
Easy solution,
这
yes?
是很简单的方法。
Finally, the last one.
最后一
Suffering
个
from the
无因之
raging
胜
blaze
苦
of fire skandha is suffering from yourself.
所以你是从
What are you
自
going
己
to do? Shoot
身上的
yourself?
问题的苦
Steal
你该怎么
yourself?
办？你要偷你自己吗？
Huh?
射你自己吗？
Love yourself?
爱你自己吗？
Ooh, very appropriate comment. Ooh, you love yourself. Huh? See that? It is a big dilemma for us.
非常非常大的一个问题。
We are
我们
the problem.
是我们自己的我们就是问题，
You are the problem.
我们就是这个真正
Doesn't
我们受
matter how
苦的问
rich
题。
you are, how
不管
smart
你
you
有
are,
多
how
聪明，
you know how
多
successful you
多成
are,
功，
how pretty you are.
多美，
You're causing yourself grief.
你
No
就是
one
让你
else.
自己受苦，没有别人，不是任何人造
And you
成
keep
的。
on blaming
然后
others
你一直在怪别人，
for your suffering.
说你
You
说你
justify
会苦是因
that
为
you
别人
suffer
的问
because
题
of，others. But actually, you are the one who causing your
但是
own
你
suffering.
呢
No
是
one else.
造成你自
Not
己的
them,
苦，
not
不是
me.
别人的。
I'm innocent. They're innocent.
我
You
是无
are the
辜的，
culprit.
是你自己的问题。
What do you have to say for yourself?
那你应该这么说，你要怎么样替自己
See,
辩
my
解
legs
呢？
are hurting because I'm, you know,
我的脚很痛，
I'm
因
not
为
happy. Man.
我其实不开心。
Who told me to cross my legs
谁
like
叫我
this?
要
Constantly, morning
要
and
早
then
上
afternoon. I
到
mean, this
下
is
午一直
nonsense.
要
Huh?
盘
You see
腿？
that? The
你
eighth
看，
kind of
其实
suffering
这第8
is
种苦
the
呢，
most
就是呢，
depressing one,
是
the most depressing Buddhist truth.
最使
We
人
are the
觉得忧
problem.
郁
We're
的。
causing all our problems.
我们自己
We're
在
the
造成
source
我们
of
自己
all
所
our
有的问
problems.
题。
And
然后呢，
because if you
因为如此
understand
呢，
that,
如果你懂呢，
then there is hope.
那就有希望了。
If you don't believe it,
如果你
like
不相
most
信呢，像大部分
non-Buddhists do, they don't believe it. I
大
know
部
you
分的
don't
佛
believe
教
it.
徒
No
都
need to
不
raise your
相信。
hands.
我知道你们不相信的，不需要
Deny.
举手。
Okay, give him a microphone so that he can
给
practice
他一个麦克
denial
风，
in
所以
public.
他就可以当众的学着如何呢不承认。
7. Soju is in samadhi
受
again.
就已经在
He says,
入
"Oh,
定了，他说
liberation!
哦，解脱了。
I should start hating myself."
我应该开始
Yes, 7.
恨我自
I
己。
completely agree because it's a Catholic teaching. So
Catholic what?
It's a Catholic teaching too, so I
这个其
completely
实也
agree.
是天主教的教导，所以我同意。
So what do Catholics do about that?
所以天主教徒他们都说些什么？他们都做些什
What
么
we
呢？
do is that we have to pray and we have
我
to
其实是要祈祷，
learn about how to
学着呢，
basically
基本上
the
呢，
correct way to suffer, though that's what we learn.
That will not fix it. You can pray all you want. It's not going to fix it.
你可以一直祈祷，但是是没有办法去
Yes, 7, 9.
去解决他
This
这个
is
问题
from
的。
Jared. How do I not suffer as much?
就是
And then he
Jared，
changed it to, how do I stop my anger issues?
他说我怎么样可以
Jared,
不受
our
苦？
Jared.
Yes, our
怎么
Jared.
样可不可以
What?
停止受苦？
You know
说
how
是
old
我
our
们是
Jared is?
你知道我们的 Jared 几岁吗？
The same Jared I know?
这个是我知道的
The
Jared
only
吗
Jared I know?
我唯一知道的 Jared 嘛，
The one that has a
那个后面有一个
like
那个的，
a tail and
像
behind
一
his head?
个头后面有
Not
那个
behind his
那
rear.
个
It's the
尾
head.
尾巴的吗？
Move north.
搬到北边，
Get away from yourself.
脱离你自己。
He sounds depressed, doesn't he?
你看他听起
You
来
should
是
be
在忧
depressed.
郁，
You
是
know,
不
it's
是？
you are
你其实应该要觉得
causing
忧
all
郁
the。grief in your life. It's
你
you.
其实就是在造成
It's
你个
very
人的苦，
depressing. That's
其
why
实是
it's
非
my
常忧
theory
郁
is
的。
100%
这就为
of
什么
us
呢？
will experience
我就
depression.
说，就是我的
Nothing
理
you
论
can do about it.
100%的，你们
Q&A
在你们的人在你们人生中都会
See
觉
how
得
quick,
忧
how
郁。
deftly I avoided answering the question?
你猜我
Okay.
马上就
Oman.
拒绝回答这个问题。是的，请说。老和尚，
A Di Đà Phật. Con thấy cái này là cái chánh ở trong cái kinh Phật dạy mình. Nguyên nhân mình khổ là tại mình có cái ta, cái self. Mình cái gì cũng me, I suffering, he hate me, he take away from me, from blah blah blah. Thì mình tại cái self đó mà mình ra tất cả vấn đề. Con nhẫn dịch đi.
I think like this is from the teaching of the Buddha, like the suffering. The reason is because we all have the self. So we all say that like he hates me, he takes things away from me, blah 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 blah.
把我东西拿走，他讨厌
Thì
我。
bài học đầu tiên là Ngài Tổ Huệ Năng dạy mình. Khi Ngài thấy hai ông Tăng cãi với nhau là cái lá phướng bay, ông kia nói trật rồi, gió bay chứ phướng không có bay. Thì cứ như vậy qua lại thì Ngài Huệ Năng nói là gió không bay, phướng không bay mà cái tâm mấy ông động.
So the first lesson is Master Huineng. He taught us in Sixth Page Sutra. So when he saw the two monks were arguing against with each other, because one monk would say like the flag was flying, and the other monk was arguing like no, the wind caused the flag to move, and then they keep debating back and forth like that, and then in the end, Master Huineng said, no, none of you right. It's your mind that moves.
Và bài học thứ hai là Tổ Quy Sơn của mình dạy thế này. Các vật xung quanh mình, nó dạng vật xung quanh mình, các pháp đó, nó không có nói có, nó không có nói tốt, nó xấu, tại mình thấy thì mình đánh giá. Là cái nguyên nhân đó là mình khổ cho ai nữa. Đó là cái bài học thứ hai của Tổ Quy Sơn.
And then the second lesson is from the Master Wei Shan. He said like all of the things outside, it didn't say that whether it's right or it's wrong or whatever, but it's us, our judgment mind decided. Our discrimination.
Đây là bài học con học được khi đi đại hạn với thầy năm 2018. Cho dịch đi.
And this is the lesson that I learned from you when I go with you to Korea in 2018.
Thì đêm đó con ngủ chung phòng với thầy thì con ngồi được thấy thầy ngồi thì con ngồi, ông trụ trì cho hai thầy trò ngủ chung một phòng thì con thấy thầy ngồi thẳng, con cũng không có dám nằm, con ngồi thẳng. Nhưng mà sau 1 tiếng đồng hồ thì con gục xuống.
So the abbot arranged for me to stay in the same room with Master, and then I saw that Master was sitting upright, so I didn't dare to lay down to sleep. So I sat up. And then after 1 hour, I began to slouch.
Thì khi con ngã xuống thì con nghe cái tiếng mình lỗ tai nói rất là nhỏ, chỉ đủ nghe thôi. Ai biết ngủ một chú tụng đi rồi dạy cho.
And then I hear a small voice talking to my ear, say that whoever knows the 5 spiritual mantra, recite it, and then I will teach.
Thì con nghe cái tiếng ngồi thì con ngồi xa ra, không có dựa tường nữa mà ngồi thẳng lên cho đến 9 giờ sáng luôn, không đau, không mỏi, không buồn ngủ.
Hearing that voice, I straightened up my back, and then I sat far away from the wall. I did not lean against it, and then since then I could sit straight up until 9 a.m. the following morning.
Rồi thì sau đó 1 ngày 2 ngày gì thì ở trong khách sạn để chờ về Minh Mỹ này đó, thì ngồi trong khách sạn không biết làm gì, nhìn cái màn cửa đó.
And then after that incident, and then a few days later, we were getting ready to go back to the U.S. And then before we get to the airport, we stay in the hotel. And then, you know, like the whole day staying in the hotel was kind of like boring, don't have anything to do. So I just look at the
window.
The window with the curtain.
Thì cái tấm màn đó in hình một cái cô người phụ nữ Đại Hàn mặc kimono thôi, rất đơn giản thôi.
And then the curtain only has a simple image of the Korean lady wearing the kimono, the traditional clothes.
Thì khi con ngồi nhìn con kimono tiếng
What is the traditional clothes you wear?
And then I keep looking at that curtain with that image, and then suddenly I understand the principle that Master Hui Nang was taught the 2 monks about the flag is flying or the wind is flowing.
Cái hình này không có mời, không có gọi, không có đẩy, không có nói cái gì mình á. Mình nhìn tấm hình là mình đánh giá rồi mình phiền não, chứ cái hình này không có nói gì mình hết á. Tức là các quanh mình
didn't really say anything, didn't invite anything or whatever. So, but our mind decide with our kind of opinion.
就是我们虽然
còn nữa về bên Bát Nhã mà dài quá con xin hết tới đây.
但是我们的心里面看着某一件不的事情，我们就会有自己个人的想法。因为我们知道呢，是我们的自我，所以佛就教了我们呢。
primary source of our suffering
我们所有的苦呢，其实就是从我们的自我而生的。那是有一个方法可以脱离这些苦。
The Buddhist practice.
这就是佛教的修行。
So that's what he taught.
这就是他教导我们呢，如何呢
end all suffering by eliminating the ego, and that's possible.
可以了所有的苦。 然后呢，就是能够把我们的自我消灭。很多人做过，很多人在我们的道场也做到了。所以呢，佛教呢，这不是关于说而已，不是只是意思而已，跟理论。
You can learn the exact methodology or Dharma doors, how to get there yourself, where there's no more suffering whatsoever.
可以让自己了苦。
All right? All right. I think time is up.
时间到了。
Perfect. Then next time we do 4950.
我们从49页开始。谢谢。